At 21, I was broke. And then by 23, I was a millionaire with 7 figures of real estate holdings. I did it without using my own money or without having perfect credit. Most people think you need tons of cash or perfect credit to build wealth in real estate. That's completely incorrect. In fact, at 22, I bought 50 houses in 52 weeks. That's almost a house every single week. Now today, I'm gonna show you the exact blueprint I used to go from 0 to doing over 500 real estate deals with my brother and I. Now this isn't theory. This is a step-by-step system that I've built that built my 7-figure portfolio from scratch. Now let me start where I came from. At 21, I had no money, no connections, no clue about real estate investing, but I had something that was more important. I was hungry. I started learning everything I could about real estate investing. I read books, I went to seminars, I bought coaching, I studied successful investors, I got credit cards and borrowed all the money I could. But here's what I discovered. Most things they taught required money I didn't have and perfect credit. Traditional real estate investing says you need 20% down, you need good credit, you need cash reserves. But when you're starting with little to nothing, that's impossible. So I had to find a different way. That's when I found somebody who taught me creative financing. And that changed my entire life. Here's what most people don't understand. You don't need banks to buy real estate. You can buy directly from the seller using something called owner financing, regardless of whether the house has a bank loan on it or is free and clear. Owner financing means the seller becomes your bank for you. So instead of going down and getting a mortgage from Wells Fargo, your payments go directly to the person selling the house or to the debt that's already on the property. This was my breakthrough moment. I realized I could buy properties, collect deeds with little to no money down if I could have sellers who were willing to finance me the deals themselves. But I didn't stop there. I developed what I now call the BOFSLO method, buy on owner finance and sell on lease option. This system lets you control properties, build equity, and create cash flow without using a ton of your own money. Step 1, find the right deals. Building a 7-figure portfolio starts with finding the right houses for sale. But here's the secret. You're not looking for perfect houses. You're looking for sellers that have motivation. Motivated sellers are people who need to sell their house quickly. Maybe they inherited the property. Maybe they just don't want it. Maybe they're a tired landlord. Maybe they're moving for work or they need debt relief. These sellers care more about you solving their problem than they do about getting top dollar. And that's the opportunity for you. Solve their problem and get paid well for doing so. I found my first deals through direct mail and driving for dollars and putting out bandit signs and networking with wholesalers. And the key has been consistency. Some weeks I would make dozens or many dozens of calls in a week, or I would send out several hundred letters. Most people give up after just a couple of rejections. And I knew every no was getting me one closer to a yes. And when the first yes came, everything changed. Now, step number 2. The BOFSLO system explained. Let me break down exactly how BOFSLO works because this is the system that built my entire portfolio. BOFSLO stands for buy on owner finance, sell on lease option. It's a 2-step process that creates multiple income streams, multiple paydays from every single deal. Step number 1 of the 2-step process is to buy the property, buy it on owner finance. I find a seller who's motivated. I negotiate to buy their property, paying them off over time or covering the debt that they have on the property. This means often little to no money down. We close with a real estate attorney and I make monthly payments to the seller or covering their debt until I pay it off in full. For example, I find a seller who's owned a house. Let's say they want $100,000 and it's free and clear. Let's say they're tired of being a landlord and they want out. I say, hey, I'll buy the house for $95,000 for $5,000 down and $800 a month for, let's say, 15 years. He said yes because I solved his problem, took the headache off of his plate. He gets some cash up front, he gets monthly income, a check every month, and no more tenant headaches. Now I'm responsible for maintenance, repairs, and taxes and insurance. Step number 2, sell on lease option. Now that I own and control the property, from buying it, from getting the deed, buying it on owner financing, instead of renting it out, I sell it, but on a lease option. It just simply means I lease it out to someone who wants to own it eventually, and they have the option to buy it during an agreed amount of time. They pay me a non-refundable option deposit that goes directly toward their down payment when they buy, and they become responsible now for the maintenance and repairs. So using the same example, let's say I lease option that house that I bought for $100,000 with $5,000 down, and let's say I option it for $120,000. The tenant gives me $8,000 the day they move in and $1,200 a month in rent. Look at the numbers I already collected. So after collecting $8,000 from the tenant, it means they owe me $112,000 when they cash me out. So when the tenant buyer exercises their option to purchase, I'll make another $17,000. 120 minus the 8 they gave me, 112 they now owe me, minus the 95 I owe the seller, less any debt paid down. You might want to rewind that and watch that a couple times. Now, step number 3, scaling the system. Once I proved the system worked with 1 deal, and then 2, I knew I had to scale it fast. So that's how I bought 50 houses in 52 weeks when I was just 22 years old. Scaling requires 3 things: mindset, team, and systems. System means having a process for everything. How you find deals, how you analyze them, how you present offers, how you close deals. I created checklists and done my best to systemize it on the fly. I hired virtual assistants to make calls. I tried sending mail and scheduling appointments, and I found contractors and title companies and attorneys. I screwed up a lot of things, but in the midst of it all, I created systems and a systematic process to do it over and over again. So the mindset was the biggest factor above all. Most people just think too small. They think they want to buy 1 or 2 properties and maybe another one in 2 or 3 years. But I was thinking about, how do I get a deal a week? And the beautiful thing about BOFSLO is that each deal can fund the next deal. The down payment from your lease option buyer becomes the down payment for your next purchase. Step number 4, building long-term wealth. Here's where most investors get it wrong. They focus on cash flow and forget about wealth building. BOFSLO creates both. Every BOFSLO deal creates 3 profit centers. Immediate cash up front when they give you the non-refundable option deposit the day they move in. Monthly cash flow as they pay you rent, and a back-end profit if and when they get a bank loan and cash you out. But the real wealth comes from doing this over and over again. Over the last 11 years, I've done over 500 deals, many of which were BOFSLO. Some were paying us monthly cash flow, and others started buying us out for substantial back-end paydays. The key is multiplying those profits by investing in more deals. Every back-end profit became opportunities for down payments or closing costs for new deals. This is how you build generational wealth. You're not just buying properties, you're building a system that generates multiple income streams and appreciation over time. Let me share the 3 biggest mistakes that keep most investors, though, from building 7-figure portfolios. The first one, waiting for perfect deals. Perfect deals don't exist. Good deals do. So take the good deals and stop waiting for the perfect deals. I'd rather do 10 good deals than waiting for that one perfect one that may never show up. Mistake number 2, not taking action. Most people get caught in analysis paralysis. Knowledge without action is absolutely worthless. I see people study real estate for years but never making an offer. You learn by doing and surrounding yourself by the right people. Mistake number 3, thinking too small. If you want to build a 7-figure portfolio, you need to think like someone who runs a 7-figure portfolio. This means making bigger offers, better offers, taking calculated risk, no goodies, and moving fast. So what's your next steps? Building a real estate portfolio isn't just possible, it's predictable if you follow the right systems. The BOFSLO method gave me official millionaire status through equity by the time I was 23. It's helped hundreds of my students build their own portfolios and wealth. It can work for you too, but you have to first start. You have to take action. You have to believe that you deserve financial freedom. And if you're serious about building your own 7-figure portfolio, I want to help you do so. I'm hosting a free challenge coming up next week where I'm going to teach you the complete BOFSLO system. In the challenge, I'll cover how to find motivated sellers, how to structure creative deals, how to build passive income through real estate. Plus, I'm going to share the exact scripts that I use to buy my deals and helped hundreds of students use them as well. Click the link in the description to save your spot. It's completely free, but the space is limited for my serious action takers only. If this video opened your eyes to what's possible, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because every single week I share new wealth building strategies. Remember, your current situation is not your final destination. If a broke 21-year-old can become a millionaire by 23, why not you too? What's your biggest obstacle in getting started in real estate? Just drop a comment below and I'll personally reply and help you figure out what your next steps are. Now stop watching and start doing. Your 7-figure portfolio is awaiting.